Are you looking for logical solutions to your primary maths resource problems? Well, here on Resource Review, we're looking at 3 that might just help. They are a free website with mathematical games and solutions,
£100, take away 10 equals 90,
a shapes and tiles pack, and a structured approach to problem solving. So keep watching to find out what our panel of experts think here on Resource Review. Recommending today's resources, we have Judy Sayers. Judy is Senior Lecturer in Mathematics Education at the University of Northampton. On the panel today, we have Fran Bradshaw. Fran is Primary Advisor for Mathematics for Hertfordshire. And we also have Isaac Anum. Isaac is a Primary Maths Advisor, but known to many as Mr. Numbervator. It's great to have you all on the show. Thanks for coming along. Judy, your first resource is the Enrich website, a free resource which teachers will like. But tell us more about the content of this website.
Well, it's been around for about 10 years now, and it seems to be evolving as we speak. There are new. It's republished every month. There is a whole catalogue of resources that are free, as you say, for teachers, for children to download. Activities you can download onto your interactive whiteboard. You can use in the classroom, whole class activity. You could download the sheets, resource sheets, and give them out as homework. You could give them for a group in your class that you want to stretch perhaps a little bit, or get them to do a problem-solving activity.
Well, before we discuss it any further, let's have a look and see whether Enrich can really enrich maths lessons. We went along to Simon Mark's Jewish School in North London, where teacher Norma Blair-Claydon is using it with her Year 6 class.
Today we were trialling the Enrich website's mathematical problems suitable for Key Stage 2/Key Stage 3. They present us with certain problems that for you to have a look at, and apparently they're suitable for Key Stage 2, which is what you are. I think it's investigational maths. You're going to look at it and see if you can solve the problem. We looked at the chocolate problem, where 2 boys didn't have enough money to buy a bar of chocolate, and we had to work out how much the bar of chocolate was. We also looked at the sweet shop items, where we had to work out the individual cost of each particular sweet item, and I liked that one. I think the children enjoyed that one too, because it had the graphics and so on. And I think the one they enjoyed most, in a way, was the money maze, when they actually came up to the board and they were able to draw the lines and so on and so forth. And the idea on that particular one was to get through from the beginning of the maze to the end of the maze with the most money possible.
£100, take away 10 equals 90. 240 take away 50 is 190.
The pupils who really enjoyed it most, or got the most out of it, were the ones who are mathematically very able. There wasn't much really to grab their attention. There was the intellectual challenge, of course, but they're so used to having all the, you know, the entertainment, rewards, levels. They need that kind of challenge. You have to be able to appeal to today's generation, but some of these problems I don't think that they necessarily did. I can't see myself using one of the problems as a particular basis for an individual lesson. I personally would just use it as a brain gym.
Judy, Norma had quite strong views about how she would use the Enrich website. How much support is there for teachers explaining different ways that they could use it?
Well, each problem has tips, hints, ideas of how to start solutions. So I think it's how you use it. And maybe if that teacher perhaps used it in a different way, perhaps she had a very firm views of how she was going to use it, and it didn't work and fit in the way she wanted to. But she said she would use it again, and I think that's what you've got to do. Have an open mind, have a look at the resources. How can I use that to suit my children in my class?
All right, well, let's see what the panel think. Fran, coming to you first. What are your views?
I think most of the teachers that I work with see the resource as an alternative or an added extra to what they're doing, so they can develop the problem-solving process within the classroom, use the problems there. And of course, one of the things they most like is the associated problems at the bottom. So you've got 5 similar problems. Yeah. So they can then develop the same theme, and it's you know, embedding that understanding of a particular problem type and developing it further. So I think it has its value.
Yep, and for me, I chose, there's one particular activity called 2 clocks that I thought was absolutely superb, because it's calling upon what children should have been taught, what they should know at a particular age range, but also it's getting them to actually use a lot of cues into finding out what the right answer is. And when I was doing it myself, I found it very challenging mentally, and it captivated me for a very, very long time until I sort of saw what was going on. And I found myself talking about, well, how can that be the right time? What clues am I using? And then I went back to the end of the page and I saw there was the top 5, and how to actually progress and how to actually sort of get other problems from this one problem.
Well, that's obviously a very popular one over there. There's lots to the site, though, and it's free. Yes. OK. Well, let's move on now to Judy's second choice of resource, and these are these wonderful multicoloured tiles. Judy, tell us, what is this resource and why do you like it?
It's the ATM, Association of Tutors for Mathematics, MATs, which are mathematical activity tiles. Now, they've been around for a long time. They feel, and I can think they give the appearance of a beer mat, because that's where the concept was conceived.
You're right. They are beer mat material.
They are, exactly that. In a pack, you'll mostly get regular polygons.
Is this one pack?
This is one small pack for a class. I personally think you can use these from Key Stage 1 all the way up to Key Stage 4. I mean, this dodecahedron here, my Year 2s constructed one each for themselves for that, and just got so enthralled with it. They were beginning to get to know the properties of a 3D shape.
Well, great, thank you. These sound really interesting. Let's see how they went down in the classroom. We returned to Simon Marks Jewish School, where teacher Rowan Plunkett is using the tiles with his Year 3 class.
Today I was using a resource called MATS for the first time, which is basically a set of shapes, 2D shapes, which are on cardboard, with various patterns on them. I decided to make some 3D shapes using them. I started off with my lesson looking at different shapes and the names of shapes, and we had to do quite a bit of work on their vocab. So we played a quick game trying to use that vocab at the start so that they were familiar with them. Okay, first question.
Is it 2D?
Yes!
Most of the shapes that the children were making were prisms. That was my bottom group, and then I had a few children that decided to make other 3D shapes, pyramids, and then I had some tops which were making some more complex shapes, some of the hedrons, cuboctahedron, etc.
We're trying to make that, and it's quite hard because it has 8 triangles and 6 squares.
From then they had to count how many faces, how many edges and how many vertices together with a partner, and tell everyone what properties that shape had.
It's got 14 faces, 12 vertices and 24 edges.
I think the students definitely enjoyed the resource. To them, I think it was just a matter of playing, and they didn't realise how much work they were actually putting in. I think it just came natural to them, so I think it was a very good lesson. If you want something easy that's ready to use, it is quite a valuable resource because there are different activities that you could use with them. So I probably would use them again. But whether I would buy them or not, I think maybe it's a bit too expensive for what it is, really.
Well, fairly popular, Judy, but I can't help bringing up this issue of quite expensive for what you get.
Yes, he has a point that one set costs £40 odd. But if you use the right adhesive, after a while you can just peel off the adhesive and use them all again. I mean, here they've been put together with masking tape, which again you can just peel off and use again. So I think the expense thing, maybe, I think it's how you use it.
Does it come with any sort of support pack?
There is a book, a handbook you can purchase. It is old and it's actually typed so it doesn't look very attractive. I believe ATM are looking at revamping this and perhaps producing a primary and a secondary version. But what's in here doesn't mean to say it's old and out of date. The mathematics in here is really good and there's some good ideas.
Well, Judy's clearly a fan. Isaac, what do you think of the tiles?
When I've used them in the classroom myself, it's the language that is provoked from using them from the children themselves, and I think that is what overtakes the cost of them. Just by doing and just by putting together and just by making and forming, that is just so rich for them.
So even though they're very simple and it is a bit like a game, you're actually getting so much more from it. Is that right, Fran?
Well, I have to say I don't agree.
Oh.
I used them for years, and for 3D shape, Polydron beats them hands down because it's immediate. And I just feel that, you know, this alongside Polydron works well, but on its own I wouldn't invest in this.
With the Polydron you've got all the connectors, so they're not a clear straight edge side.
Whereas this
is, and I think it just reinforces the properties of the shape.
OK, well now let's move on to Judy's third choice of resource, which is a textbook that you can buy from the NRICH website. Judy, it's called Maths Trails, Generalising. Tell us about this resource and why you like it.
Well, generalising is the heart of mathematics. It is mathematics. And I think teachers, when you're getting up to the top end of Key Stage 2 and you want to enrich their experience of how mathematics, the mathematical structures work together, because it's not just a book, as you see there's a CD-ROM there. So it's generalising from patterns, generalising from games, investigations, number, and then moving on to creating formula.
OK, well, let's see over here. Fran, what do you think of this book for teachers?
I actually really like this, and my main reason for that is because most of the teachers ask that their biggest concern is how do we do it, how do we teach it? And I think the joy of this book is it tells them how to do it, so I like it.
Isaac, is this something that you would recommend to maths teachers?
It's great as an actual booklet on its own, but to actually, for a teacher or let's say an NQT, picking it up and trying to follow through as a course, I would not sort of advocate, because I'd want to sort of bring my own individual feeling into it.
All right, well, just time for a final comment from Judy, perhaps picking up on Isaac's point there.
Well, I think there isn't a book like this on the market, I don't think, because of the structure that it gives teachers. It's not, generalising isn't a step-by-step, this is what you do, this is what you do next, this is what you do next. I think this gives you lots of activities to help the children develop those skills, and the teacher to help enhance those skills.
Well, thank you all very much. 3 good resources there from Judy with some interesting discussion. Just to recap, the resources that we looked at were the NRICH website from the University of Cambridge, the mathematical activity tiles from ATM, and finally, Maths Trails Generalising from the NRICH team, published by Cambridge University Press. For more information about the resources that we've discussed today, go to our website. It's teachers.tv/resource review, or if you want to, email us, resourcereview@teachers.tv. So I'd like to say a very big thank you to our panel, to Judy, to Fran and to Isaac. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time on Resource Review. Bye-bye.